So just pretty much this is just literally I just caught the trend. This is what I've been expecting over the last few days. With pretty much this is the consolidation that I was looking for to officially call this a new trend or a new support level for Dogecoin. And this is when we just got confirmation here. I don't confirm anything unless we get 3 tests. And today we have pretty much our 3rd test on this trajectory here. So officially, I would like to say this is a new trend, and I'm talking about our moving averages, which we're going to dive into here in this video, and then I'll take a few questions afterwards. So before I jump into everything, just kind of let me know if you can hear me. I always do my audio check just to make sure I'm not recording a video in silence, and then we're going to jump right into the new trend that I'm seeing here. Let's see. I'm just going to put it in the chat as well. This is really exciting. In case you guys are unfamiliar, you can hear me just fine. There we go. Perfect. So in case you guys are unfamiliar, I recovered the shorts that have kind of backed off or been showing pretty much just a trajectory as far as backing off of their aggressiveness in shorting Dogecoin. So this is going to allow Dogecoin to move more freely. And let's take a look here at the charts here to show just what Dogecoin moving more freely is going to mean. So this is the 1 year to date. And as you can see here, pretty much in the circled area, we see Dogecoin kind of like consolidating and pretty much trending sideways, which is good. But we also see this purple line and the yellow line kind of running towards each other. And technically, you're looking at a 72-day moving average and a 21-day moving average, pretty much looking like they're getting ready to cross, which is certainly bullish for, especially in the short term, because pretty much this means that you're having more positive price action in the short term than you have over the past roughly 2.5 months. So we're going to take a shorter look here on the day. And this is where things are kind of getting really, really interesting. So let's take a look at the 5-day. That's not going to show, but the 5-day, you can kind of see Dogecoin is literally using the 21-day moving average. That's this yellow line as support, which is really, really great. That is the shortest indicator. Well, technically, standard-wise, you can use different, or you can really use anything for an EMA, but 21-day is pretty standard. And you can see here, I'm going to circle it for everyone. Dogecoin is using the 21-day, that yellow line there. It's literally like a staircase almost. Like it's literally bouncing off of that 21-day. We're having not dipped down or pretty much crossed, because technically you can see it's entirely possible to dip down below the 21-day moving average, massive sell-offs, negative catalysts, all that kinds of stuff. And then you can say, okay, well, will we bounce off of the 72 or the 200-day? Well, the 5-day, it's very bullish. And then we take a look here at the smaller price action. We're seeing the price movement that we're bouncing off of. We're pretty much consolidating in between this the 21-day and the 72-day moving average. And technically, you'll see the new candles filling in here. But technically, this is when you start testing lines. Normally, I like to use 3 times as an indicator. When you start testing these lines, I can say, oh, okay, well, this is officially a new trend. And we're pretty much bouncing between, for the most part, the 21-day. This is on the day, the 21-day. And we just dipped down roughly to around a 200. But as you can see, we're getting the green candle and the bounce. So pretty much we're consolidating at our new floor roughly at around 14 cents. And again, this is all short-term price action. I'm not saying we can't go down, but this is short-term wise, and based off of like the last 5 days, roughly the last week, we are building up a solid foundation here at around 14 cents, which is really, really bullish in the long term, because, excuse me, in the short term, because this can be our launching pad, with short and long. This can be our launching pad to ultimately go up and retest 20 cents. But this can also indicate that Dogecoin is consolidating more towards its natural price evaluation. Most of you probably are already aware of that. Dogecoin, just based off of short volume alone, is artificially suppressed. And we see here that the second that they back off, and matter of fact, if you don't mind, I'm going to go back here just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let's take a look here at the shorts. I'll look on the 1 year. We'll see here on the shorts, the second that they back off, pretty much we start this downward trajectory here. Dogecoin immediately starts to rise and consolidate at these newer higher prices. So the only time we have these big breaks, these big spikes here, are typically on the bull runs to try and when Dogecoin runs up to test like 20 cents or something. We'll see these long green wicks here to kind of get the price action under control. But otherwise, the shorts back off, and now Dogecoin is consolidating at much higher levels. We're not playing around with like 11 cents, 12 cents. We're getting off of some of those hard support levels that we had before. And Dogecoin is rising and consolidating at some of these higher levels. Where is it? It's FTX. That's fine. So short-term wise, yeah, this is very great for Doge. We're going to go to 1 year. We're going to see how this is going to play out over the next like week or so, like the next 48, 72 hours. We're going to see if this remains true or respected. But those bounces, though, typically we have over 3. That's typically going to mean that this is the start of a new trend. The more we have in there, obviously, the stronger the floor. But technically speaking, officially, you can call this a new floor for Dogecoin. So I'm really excited about this. This is really great on the short term. Again, we're using the 21 day as a moving, it's like literally like a staircase and building up. This is really great in the short term. And this really just shows that what a lot of us already believe, which is Dogecoin has been artificially suppressed, and it's probably closer to around that 20 cent, maybe even 25 cents if we have the shorts kind of stay out of it. And this also means that the downward trajectory that we're seeing as far as for not having the short volume in, that means that Dogecoin holders are actually holding, and they're not literally just creating that illusion that, okay, well, they're selling off every month or the community is being impatient. When you see the shorts back off, what do you have? You have a flat line, which means that the Dogecoin holders are in fact not selling, and that's negative pressure coming from people who are short on the coin. So lots of confirmations here in the last week or so. Some of the things that we've already seen, some of the things that we've already seen or at least kind of suspected, but we're getting confirmations on. So this is really great going forward. So that is the TA for the short term. I'm going to take a few questions from the chat. So if you have any questions, just kind of put them in the chat section. I'll take a few questions and answer them to the best of my abilities. And then I will conclude there. I will not keep you guys long tonight. So let's see. It's comical how the floor completely feels normal at 14 cents for people when we had it at 12 or 11 cents. Yeah, no, looking at the charts, we could say that it was going to have like 12 cents. And I went a step further and looked at some of the further breakdowns, but it was the negative catalyst that were, not the negative catalyst, but it was the trajectory that we were on that, okay, well, Dogecoin was, the community was selling off, or it was becoming impatient. And really, we just saw on every single spike, even starting this year with the Tesla merge announcement and stuff like that, we saw the shorts come out to make sure that we stayed in that trend. And we have a lot of people that, took advantage of those lower prices, like 11, 12 cents and stuff like that, which is great. Anytime we overshoot those floors or we consolidate or get that breakdown below a floor, I love those positions. Mathematically speaking, yes, Dogecoin could hit 12. I did that TA a few months ago. We did get there. We get a breakdown or those little flash crashes where we dip below, great buying opportunity. Now we get to consolidate at something more, I'd say more akin to its natural price point. Then the people who average down or are able to pick up some coins at those prices, they get rewarded. So it's a beautiful thing. That's because you had holders buy at 11 cents, not the shorts. Yeah, definitely people average down and took advantage of that. I've been holding my Dogecoin back for a year now, been averaging down like crazy. I just want us back up at 20 cents already. Yeah, no, we're building the new floor here. This is great. The short term, we're looking really, really amazing. Obviously, the more retests we have to pretty much strengthen this floor, the better. But yeah, this is looking really great here. So the only thing we have to keep an eye on is, because technically the last 3 times we went to go retest that 20 cents moving average, we had shorts kind of like jump out of the bushes and like try and crush that momentum. So depending on what's propelling us and how strong the community is, or how strong that momentum is, that's going to determine what happens after we hit 20 cents. But it's looking really good. Let's see. We have to be patient in this market. Absolutely. Are the shorts backing off because we have 420 and Doge coming up this week? I won't say that. And just because I've been looking at, well, just referencing what happened last year, because technically speaking, off of the big catalyst days, Doge historically, like 420 and stuff like that, historically, they will try and pretty much like crush momentum on those days. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a slight sell-off on 420. This is historically what has happened. I wouldn't be surprised if shorts kind of if people that are short on Dogecoin just because they didn't want the momentum, they'd pick up, I say be more aggressive on 420 just to kind of keep the momentum under control or to create the illusion that there's a sell-off. But we see what's happening with the community when the shorts are not active, so we know what's real. But I wouldn't just necessarily just say count on the day to for it to rally or to see any significant price movement from that day, because historically we get just the opposite on those days. I remember Doge being stuck at 5 cents. Yeah. And that's where most of my DCA is. I got some at like 2 or 3 cents, but most of it is around 5 cents. I remember it was saying, "Oh my God, Doge is inflation. It'll never hit 10 cents. It'll never hit 25 cents." Yep, I remember all those conversations. Absolutely. Last year on 420, everyone sold it dipped bad. Yeah, I remember last year on 420. That's why I'm not putting anything out there to say, "Oh my God, 420 to the moon." I will not make one of those videos because I know historically what has happened. History doesn't necessarily repeat, but it does rhyme. So I'm being careful with my words here. Last year, I looked at 42 cents for a long time. Yeah, we had some. Yeah, this is, I'm not opposed to us building like these floors or setting up or even just that stair step approach. As you guys know, those of you that follow my channel closely, you guys know that I prefer the stair step approach compared to the gap ups. So, typically those gaps get filled, and typically that momentum, that revenue is not coming from retail. So it has a higher chance of being unstable. So I prefer this approach that we're seeing right now with Dogecoin. I feel that we are getting bull trapped before the market tanks hard. I'm sitting back and holding light DCA for a bit. Yeah, I covered the possibility of that in my last video as far as for the market pumping, pretty much pumping to create revenue, where they typically pump the market, attract new people because they're anticipating the new all-time high, then they sell from underneath them. With Doge, I don't think we've seen enough price movement. I can make a case for that in several coins, not with Doge just yet. Certainly, if we just had a random breakout, let's just say 420, for example, to 25 cents or something like that, then yeah, that would be the case. So that's why I always say, okay, buy a little. If your DCA, if this is significantly below your DCA, then certainly bring it down into the teens if you can. But by God, please do not wait until we have a spike or a bull run or Tesla. Elon says we're going to use it for Twitter or whatever the case may be, and wait until that point to say, okay, well now I'm going to buy in at 20 cents or something like that. Because when you have those runs, not everybody in the coin is short term. Not everybody in the coin is long term, and you're going to see those sell-offs, and that's typically how you end up either with a higher DCA or raising your DCA when you don't have to. So just kind of keep an eye out for that. But that is entirely possible. I just don't believe Dogecoin is quite in that price range just yet. Hit the like, y'all. Yes, please, absolutely. Thank you. Let's see if Doge 35 cents this year. I'll be happy if I get my principal. Yeah. No, there's still a lot of uncertainty in the macros, but that door has not closed yet. So we are, especially with the higher consolidations we're seeing here, as far as for Doge, and I believe it climbing to its natural equilibrium. I'm excited for Doge this year. I like when you go longer. Thank you. Let's say going to retest 70 cents again, in my opinion. When? This year? Or just you're saying in general? Yeah, because we have like the door hasn't closed on that this year, despite the macros, because obviously there's still a lot of uncertainty there. But yeah, I do believe that Doge is like the 70 cents and our all-time high. I don't believe we've seen the best of Doge yet. Hello, my brother. Share your information to all my friends. Thank you. I appreciate you. If it goes to 75 cents again, I'll sell 20%, then another 20% at 90%. And if it goes to $1.50, I'll sell all. Okay, well, you have your plan. Last year, it spiked on 419 and dipped on 420. Yeah, that's typically what happens. You'll have, because I believe we can either have shorts come out on like 420, or people will buy in on 419, like you said. And then if we have like a little flash crash or something like that, people will get scared, and we'll have that domino effect and people start selling off. And another thing that, since we're talking about this, we need to count on, whenever the Doge one mission, whatever leading up to that, it's very likely that we'll see something very similar. What we'll see like the day before or the week leading up to that, we'll just see Dogecoin climbing. These are short-term traders. They are simply there to make a quick buck. This is not true or true volume for Dogecoin, and you can expect it to be have some sell. Not saying that the momentum, or if someone did come in and take long positions, or if a large institution or something want to take a long position, not saying it can't be sustainable completely, but you have to be kind of just anticipating that there's going to be a sell-off to some degree if we have this pump right before any of these major catalysts. 420, Doge One mission, any type of major announcements, you're going to see something like that. So just kind of keep that in mind. So it's not necessarily saying that, oh, it's dead, or it may not necessarily be shorts. It could just literally be retail panicking and causing a domino effect. And at that point, you kind of help the shorts out, and they make money, and they're able to compound that negative pressure. So it's a whole thing, but just kind of keep that in mind. You still think Bitcoin is going down to 30? Yes. Yeah, until we get until the macros change, I'm not changing my positions on any of the breakdowns in the market. So the macros, until we get some solid answers, which we have none, I'm not changing the macros. I did a video yesterday on state of the market, and I showed pretty much the 10-year treasury yield that they're using to try and prevent the inverted yield curve. And they're literally just raising the interest to the moon, and like, oh, well, the yield curve isn't inverted anymore. So, therefore it's not hinting at a recession. Okay, no, stop raising the interest rate every week. Let's see what happens to the yield curve, because you can't raise it, forever. So the macros are still there. They're talking about the 50 basis point rate hike, trying to price it into the market so that they're not shocking it. So I'm going to need some solid answers on those macro events before I retract any of those statements and become like just full on bullish. Let's see. Do you think we're going to slowly test each support level back up to our all-time high until it's too expensive to short? That's possible. As of right now, our biggest battle is going to be back to around 24, 25 cents. Before we broke down into the teens, that was our, like, pretty much that was our support level. That was our floor. Doge hung out around that range for most of the year. That 24, 25 cents level was, just everything for Doge. So I think that shorts, they've pretty much kind of marked their line in the sand that, okay, well, we don't want Doge to make it back to 25 cents, because at that point, typically, especially at 25 cents, 23 to 24 is actually where I like to hang out. 25, 26, we start having that massive run back up to around like 31, 33 cents. So they've kind of drawn their line in the sand, saying that, okay, well, if once Doge hits, I want to say 17.3, 17.8, we start seeing shorts come out really, really heavy. And typically they're able, for the last two, three retests, they've been able to kind of get control and get it trending the other way at the latest at around 23 cents. But we start seeing massive spike volumes between 21 and 23 cents. That's when we start seeing the most aggression, but they're doing everything to kind of prevent that support level, which is our next major one. So I would say that I can't speak for all of the testing all of them, but I will say our next major one, which is 25 cents, that's certainly our our big battle to ultimately retest some of those higher levels. So as of right now, I can say that's true for the initial one, but I'm not sure about the rest of them. Hope all is well. Why wasn't there a more price action after the AMC news? Wasn't that a major catalyst that we've been waiting for? The catalyst. Well, when you say catalyst, it just depends on if you're meaning like pump based off of like FOMO or something, or if you mean from the actual utility of the coin. The coin's utility, whether that's with AMC, McDonald's, or whatever the case may be, that's going to take some time. It's not going to be an immediate price, you know, price reaction. Now, if you're talking about FOMO or people just coming in saying, "Okay, I want to capitalize off of the short term here and make some quick money," and then you start drawing out the community here because they don't want to miss the rocket ship to the moon, and we start getting that kind of like that compounding effect, then yeah, that's going to have some more of the immediate price action. But as far as for AMC or the utilization utility going into AMC, I'm fine with the just not creating like a because technically the macros aren't going to change the short term in the market, which is that we have fear and uncertainty in the market. So the catalyst here is not going to have the same effect that they did a year ago. But Dogecoin's long term, it certainly depends on this utility. So if you're not seeing I'm not sure what you're expecting, but if you're not seeing like a 20-cent raise because of a catalyst or something like that, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong or or it's not a good thing for the coin. Utility is what's going to make sure Doge is here long after these other coins are gone. So when we see like the news of like these acceptance and stuff like that, this is all great, but actual utility and the benefits of the coin being used, that's something that you're not going to see like on a day of an announcement or AMC saying that, oh, hey, we're going to accept Dogecoin like this day. When you see those rocket ships, or if Elon comes out and tweets a Dogecoin, or if he just says, I invested $1 billion in the Doge or something like that, and that immediate price action, that's FOMO. That's not true value that's going to be added to the coin. Most of that's going to consolidate within the next 7 to 9 days. So just kind of keep that in mind. But long term, the price action or for a Dogecoin's utility, this will come over a longer period of time, not the FOMO that's going to happen immediately. So I'm still watching and still buying like those extreme fear days. Thanks for the DD. Thank you. I appreciate you. If Bitcoin hits 30, Doge will hit what? So the breakdowns, I have a number of videos if you want to look at some of the older ones, but quickly, the breakdowns are going to be that if we have Bitcoin at 30 or it breaks down into like the 20s range, we're going to Doge, I believe, has been artificially low anyway, but we've seen the buying pressure get really strong at around 11 cents. Anything below that, I think that the buying pressure would get really low just because it's going to be perceived that it's obviously oversold. So we can have the brakes pumped at around like 8 to 10 cents, but the next floor, technically historically, would be at around 6 cents. But buying pressure can ultimately change that just from it being oversold or just being like a steal. So you can have the brakes pumped at any point in between there. But technically, just looking at the charts, I don't even have to look at it. I just know it. It's going to be the next technical floor is going to be around 6 cents, but it doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily hit it. But chart wise, that's where the next level of support would be. We would need Bitcoin to go up, in my opinion, since we're tied to BTC. Yes, BTC is the market indicator. It's where most of the funds are. It's where over 50% of the value of the crypto market is. So when we say the funds in the crypto market, or let's say Dogecoin is going to hit $1 or something like that, that's going to happen two ways. Either the funds are going to leave a crypto that the funds are already in, or the entire market is going to appreciate and we're going to have new money coming into the market. Those are the only two ways. So yes, that would mean Bitcoin rising as well. That's certainly one of the indicators you can use. Let's see. I'm a little behind here in the comments. So I'm going to stroll up. Diamond hands, baby. There we go. If you don't plan to start, if you don't plan to sell to then start diversifying your portfolio, absolutely. Got it. Makes sense. Last year at this time, I remember Doge going nuts on even rumors. It's a different time now. Yeah. So the biggest thing is we had a pretty much the crypto market expanded, right? And we kind of like watered it down. And a lot of things came out claiming to be like the next Dogecoin, all this kind of stuff. The crypto market, Doge is, in my opinion, I know I've said this before, but in my opinion, I believe Doge is responsible for most of the expansion that we've seen in the crypto market. Um, and because Doge was leading the charge, most of that new revenue, via Robinhood and stuff like that, was coming into Doge. But now, since the market has literally just expanded immensely, the funds and people have shiny object syndrome, and people are, if this coin is, 1,000% of a penny, you can put $2 in and get 1 billion coins. It's just more options to, with a lot of these new coins that have popped up, to further dilute the money that would otherwise was being directed into like Dogecoin and some of like the big three. So that's one of the reasons that I believe Doge doesn't have the same price reaction. But please believe that over the next few years, especially if we go into a recession, we're going to see a consolidation in the crypto market. All of this crap that has come out since then that is based off of nothing, these cash grabs, they are going to cease to exist. A lot of people, it's going to be really a consolidation of the crypto market here. And those that stood the test of time, those are going to appreciate and rise with the new capital that's going to come into the market once the cycle retests. So again, it's just a matter of being patient and being in the right coins. That was great, full circle. Thank you. We need that Doge AMC combo NFT. That'll be great. It was nice seeing the market in red that you scroll down to Doge and it was green. Yeah, absolutely. AMC stub member here. Yep, me too. Actually, according to the charts, macro shows Doge will hit $1 and pass on 2024, 2025. Don't matter. I'm not selling until 2052 retirement. There we go. So, what's your price prediction for Dogecoin 2022? I because with Doge for 2022, it's really hard to say right now, just because most of the macros are up in the air. Until we get like some concrete answers, which I don't believe we're going to have for like the next month or two, it's going to be uncertain. We're looking for the aggressiveness of the Fed when they came out initially after we stopped QE and stuff like that last month. And they did, and pretty much based off of the conversations leading up to that, we knew that they were going to come out with a 0.25%. And the Russia-Ukraine situation, I do believe it played a part in them being more dovish instead of being more aggressive that they knew we should have been initially. So I think this is kind of stretching everything out. Otherwise, we would have already seen like a significant sell-off in the market, and we would kind of, I wouldn't say we'd be recovering right now, but it was kind of, I think a lot of things have been delayed. So I don't think we're going to have any concrete answers until probably the next 30, 60 days, just until we find out, okay, really get some solid answers on what the inflation is going to be like with the new basis point hike, and also what does our economy look like without QE? Remember, we've just been off QE about 30 days. So we haven't seen like the actual effect, or whether or not our economy is going to contract or not. We've literally, a lot of this stuff is still really, really fresh. So we're going to find out, I say we're going to find out one way or another what kind of year we're going to have in the next 30 to 60 days. Let's see, I'm trying to find the nut to hold for 5 years. I keep thinking we're going to shoot up over $2, but because of how fast it went up last May. Yeah, 5 years, that's the best question. I mentioned this on Twitter the other day. I was saying that the best question to ask is not necessarily what is Doge going to be at the end of the year, but what will Doge be in 5 years? And I think this is really important, just to know the compounding effect and longevity of being in the market. Because a lot of times people say, oh my God, I could have bought Bitcoin for this price or something like that. But the reality of the matter is, if you didn't have a long-term plan, you would have sold long before it hit 50,000 and all these crazy numbers. So this is just something to kind of look at to say, okay, well, what will Dogecoin be in 5 years? And they say, okay, well, I bought in at 14 cent and I sold at, 50 cent or something like that. And then it goes up over $1 and stuff like that. It's like, oh my gosh, should have just held. And this happens with every coin, but it's really just, if you're long in the coin or if you planned on still being in the markets, those are just kind of expand your horizon when you're asking like those questions a little bit, because it'll more than likely, if you're in the right positions, it'll end up making you more money. Let's say absolutely Bitcoin. Bitcoin did great in 5 years. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so we're at 30 minutes. I don't want to make this too long. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more from me. I'll just chat with you guys tomorrow. I'll go live again, and I'll take some more QA and stuff like that. So I don't want to make this video too long. So I appreciate you guys that have tuned in with me, all roughly 150 of you. So yeah, definitely, I'm not sure how many likes the video has, but if I say anything of value, just like the video. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you and have a good night.